What's up there, Workforce? Chris here with Work to Game, and this is going to be me talking about my experience with 5.2. It will be full of spoilers. It will spoil things. There's going to be lots of spoilery stuff in here. We're going to talk about everything spoilery and everything with all the spoiling going on. So if you don't want spoilers and don't want to get spoiled, you should know that this is going to spoil it, and you should come back and watch later. All right. Awesome. Like, what a patch. Way to just knock it out of the park. Way to go, team. Like, soaking, like, if you're not already walking around like you're the most amazing ever, start doing that. 5.2 story, phenomenal. So we're going to go in order as I did things. So I played for like 16 hours today or something goofy. 15, I don't know math. A lot of hours. So the first thing I did was, I did fishing interspersed. So I did the first 5 fishing trips available to me, and then I stopped doing fishing so I could focus on finishing up Eden. So the story is long. It's so long. I don't know how long it took you guys. If you're already done with this, it took me like 5.5 hours. You don't get to the dungeon to like 3 or something like that. Whoa. So long. So I would say it was phenomenal. I wish they had a better way of telling it because like the content was really good, but it's a lot of like walk here, watch the cutscene, walk here, watch the cutscene. And like I wish there was more of like an interactivity there. You like visit with like 4 NPCs, you kill a thing. There's another time where you're like, oh, I got to kill these barnacles. And it's like, no, you don't. And then there's like some guys that like you have to kill unless you have flying and you can just fly over them and loot the things. So like if I'm just going to kill things in the wild, I could do that anyway, but like nothing's forced and there isn't any engagement. And then like at one point in the Eden story, you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to fight a thing. And it's like, nah, she's gonna go crazy on him. So like there's just very little combat, which is one of the reasons I play this game. Like I like the combat system. I like my class. I like playing warrior. I like having a hammer and not a decorative one. So like, I wish it was delivered a little better. The actual content of the story though, my goodness, like phenomenal. Seriously, no complaints. I thought at first we were bringing Arbor back and I was going to be pissed. I was going to be so mad that we brought somebody back to life again, like leave people dead. And then I was like, oh, Litibus, like we got to learn more about Ascians. Like I am so confused about all the things Ascian and like, we got to know more. And this patch left me with way more questions than answers. They said like a cliffhanger in the interview. No, you mean like all cliffhangers. I have so many questions about Zodiark now and like Hydaelyn and that relationship. And like the echo is really just something that wakens you up to like people who've been shouting this whole time. Like Hydaelyn's been like screaming and like you just can't hear the phone call ringing unless you have like the echo. And we can just like enable that in people and like Hydaelyn can do it. And whoa. There's a lot going on with the relationship between Zodiark and Hydaelyn, and this is going to be the patch where we find out about a lot of it. Like, that's so cool. Yes, I don't really understand the timeline between Eden and the main story, because, like, it feels like people are in 2 places at once sometimes. And, yeah, so I did all that, and then we get 3/4 of the way through, and we go do the dungeon. Dungeon was wonderful. Music, spot on. Freaking amazing music. The dungeon itself is a great dungeon. Like, no complaints. Didn't really, like, I wish we could have used it as a chance to go explore more of the, like, underground, like, data center type stuff, and we could have gotten more into, like, I don't know, I just want more Ascians. Like, when in doubt, like, I want all the Ascian stuff. So, like, it just didn't really scratch the itch quite as much. Just felt we were like, oh, we're killing, like, a T-Rex now. Okay. So that's fine. And then we finish up the story. It's awesome. Like, I'm thrilled. I like where we're at. I like the people we're talking to. And then I went back to go do Ruby Weapon. And Ruby Weapon has its own story. And you like peel off to the side and you learn that like some people are older than you thought they were. And some people aren't as old as you thought they were. And then you're like, oh snap, we just killed your daughter. Like, I'm so sorry. And we're planning to kill your son in a future patch. And we already know that. That's just a thing we're going to do, which means you're probably going to get pissed at us at some point, even though you're not now. And you were like an amazing fighter kind of. You're like, oh man, I'm like the coolest, baddest guy in town, but actually I was being manipulated, but now I'm going to go officially be that in secret because I'm going to go hunt the people who were manipulating me. That's a whole, you could spin off a whole nother game out of that timeline. Like a whole other thing. Just different. The fight. Phase 1, fantastic. I forgot there was a Phase 2, even though I literally covered it right here on the channel. What a transition. What a fight. Great music. Incredible mechanics. Had a blast. Probably my favorite trial since Tsukiyomi. I wish I had the gear to go justify throwing my head against a harder version today. I don't. I went from like the 440s up to like 460, I think, 1 today. So I think next week I'll be able to pick up a couple pieces. I got 3 of my legs, and I blew some money and bought a bunch of 480 stuff. That's what money's for. So I spent a lot today. Let's not do that every day. So then the next thing we did was we went and did Eden. And so the 3 of us, Star and Brian and I, went off and did fight 1 and 2. Phenomenal fights. Totally Eden caliber. Loving it. I had not done the quest to get us from after the 4th fight of the last patch because I'd done all 4 fights, but then I didn't do the quest line to go unlock Savage because I knew I wasn't going to do Savage. And like I was like, and I got my loot. So I just was like, I'll do it later. And then I forgot and later got here and now I had to do it. So I did them all today, made today a really long day. The other guys got to go take a lunch break while I plowed through the missing section of 5.1. And, I don't like Gaia. Like, who are you? Why do you complain so much? Like, why is everything got to be like about you or got to be this dark thing? And you're kind of flat as a character. Like, there's no depth there. And you're just like a bad X-Men. You have like power, but like, you're like this conflicted. And then you and Reen are going to just bicker at each other. And then like at some point there was literally a line that's like, well, why don't we just stop talking about it and you just go do the thing then? And I was like, okay then. And then you were like, great. And then we went back to talking and it's like, you said I was going to get to go do the thing. It was a lot. Would have been really easy to skip cutscenes. And I was just frustrated and like playing this long in a row, like Ariane has to keep talking all weird. And it just, the whole thing wasn't digging it. Fight 3. Yes. It's no longer about like an LED light show out in Eden. And now we're going to start getting things done. Now we're going to start achieving. That purple and white mechanic. Oh, those portals. Oh, the music, the fight did take me 2 groups. It was awesome. All the mechanics in there, the like slide mechanic to like another destination and like all the things we'd seen before and a lot of the stuff we hadn't seen before. The only fight I feel like people aren't going to get is the like purple and white into the portal. Like if you can do that transition there, you can figure out the rest of the fight on the fly. And it was all awesome. What a fight. Like that's going to be the gate though. That is by far the hardest to do. It's the hardest to execute. Yeah. And then you're getting out in the story and like, you're like, okay. I don't like Gaia, but I don't like her. Like, that's fine. And then Reen's like, hey, I got a bad plan. And Thancred and Ariane are like, well, we're pretty seasoned adventurers. And like, you've only had like control of your consciousness for like a day and a half. And you're like, you know, I don't know how old. She says she's like the same age as like Alphino, I think. I don't know. So what is she? 17? 14? 21? I don't know. Thancred and Ariane been doing this for a long time. They have been fighting things and slaying them longer than she's been alive, and she doesn't remember huge chunks. So I was a little frustrated when she had a bad idea, and then Thancred's like, but that's a bad idea. And I was like, yeah, that's right. That's a bad idea. We're not doing that. Because if I have to sacrifice a character, we're going to sacrifice Oracle of Darkness over here so that she can stop complaining. And then she was like, yeah, but I'd like to suggest the idea again though. And they were like, oh, okay, well, if you're going to suggest it twice, then like, okay, then yeah, let's do that. That's the plan. Let's do that. Even though our Warrior of Light like has a perfect record, like lore wise, we've never lost a fight because every time we die, we just get like the echo or whatever. And we're like, that was a memory. Like I saw into the future and like, now I'm going to do it the first time. So like ultimates, savage, normal, we win every time, which most of the time means we kill our target unless there's a cutscene that prevents us from doing so. Our goal is always to remove all the health. So yeah, let's go turn you into like evil Paladin Elsa, and we're going to charge in and we're going to fight you, and you're going to like change wardrobes in front of us, which is weird, and it's a weird fight, but turn away, guys. There's an eye way above the head there that's hard to see because she's so tall. So we're off fighting her, and that's awesome, and it's an incredible fight. We get her down to 0.1. Sure enough, can't kill her. It ends. Fight's over. What a great fight. That was hard earned. We had a blast. It was a solid fourth fight. And then Ruby Weapon, as good as you are, got nothing on this transition. We're going to go into like crazy mode, and then we're going to have like hammer time. And then Oracle of Darkness goes from being like my least favorite character in the game to like my most favorite, and she goes hammer time on Reen, and like we're like, no, we got to beat Shiva until she can be worn like a piece of jewelry, and we just go smash. And like I don't know if you can fail that phase, but we didn't, and it was awesome. And I was like, yes, I think there was literal shouting. So excited, awesome. And then we get into the last cutscene, and it like pans over, and it's like, did we just become best friends? It's like, okay, like acknowledge that. And it's like, let's talk about biscuits and how we're going to like hold hands, and I'll follow you if you'll follow me. Oh no, but I can't, but you can, but it's okay. And it's like, why? There was so little transition to the feels, and the feels weren't hard enough hitting. It wasn't like we killed a guy's daughter. Like, oh. So I don't know. Oracle Darkness, number 1 to be sacrificed in 5.3 by me. Number 1 in must keep. I need to know more. You are in both slots. I'm confused and lost. So that was Eden. Then it was time to, we kept doing fishing raids through all this. So I did a bunch of fishing raids. If you're not doing those, you should be. They're available at level 1. They give you like 10 of the ultimate lore or whatever, which is sold at the vendor there, nice and cheap. Those should last you a long while. Anyway, if you're low level, you're going to get like 1 million levels per. And like seriously, you're going to get like 3 or 6 or something silly. And then if you're like in the 70s, you're still going to get like just over a level. So that means every few times you're going to feel like you got 2 levels in one trip. It's a lot of experience. As somebody who's already at 80, it's supposed to give you white scripts. I must be doing something wrong, or they don't have it set up right because I'm not getting scripts like the patch notes said I would. I was just getting yellows. So I bought like a raincoat chocobo barding, and I got the minion. I haven't gotten the mount yet. That 10,000 in a trip's a big trip, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. So I'll probably be able to get 10,000 once I get the proper roll. You got to get a storm in each phase. But it's a ton of fun. It's very relaxing. It's very beautiful. It's good content. And it's there to be like the first stage of Ishgard, where it's not there for the hardcore people who already loved crafting. And if you think it is for you, it's probably going to be underwhelming. It's there to be a proper invitation to people who haven't tried it. It's there to say, welcome, come try this out. And I'm going to make it so easy and so fun. And it's all the greatest hits. And you're just going to show up and have a great time. That's what it's there for. And so to the hardcore fishers out there, keep working on your white scripts. Go work on your best in slot. You go try the new Beast Tribe, like, because I think it does fishing. I don't know. I don't know that much about the new Beast Tribe yet, because it's only been out a day. So I'd like to try it with all the different people and stuff. I haven't even finished up today's yet. I'm not in that much of a hurry because they're all at cap. So like it'll get done eventually. Yeah. So that's my day. We did story, we did the dungeon, we did the trial, we did all 4 Eden fights. I did finish up my story this time, so I have Savage unlocked so that next time, at the worst case, if I don't do Savage, next time I won't have anything to do. I'm just ready. And it was a good day. It was a good day. Inventory was an issue with the fish, but you can just discard them. They don't desynth even worth the time it takes to desynth, and they don't vendor for anything because they're meant to be caught by level 1s, and they don't really have a use outside of like printing. So like, just feel free to pitch them, however, and if they become valuable, then just go fishing more. The every 2 hour thing is bothering people right now. I think it's a good call. That's a bigger topic for another time, but I think it's a good call. So long story short, like just like PvP, like you want to funnel people in because like otherwise you run the risk of like, oh, it's a 40-minute queue. No. You go there at this time and you just get in. So yeah, I liked it. I'm looking forward to getting more content in like 3 weeks. We blasted through it. There is way more than 3 weeks of content here for the average player at the average pace. Most people aren't going to do 16 hours in one day. So like that's on us for running out, and I'm not upset. This was awesome. The music was out of this world. Everything was beautiful. The combat was fun. Everything was like the right amount of challenging. Lots of cutscenes, lots of voiced stuff. All in all, just really great. Like just really great content. Thank you. Thank you, Square. Like just phenomenal stuff. I mean, we can sit here and we can talk about the long-term health of the game and the things where, you know, maybe we have a concern or we wish something was a little different. But like at the end of the day, everything here is good or better. Like, and way better. Like all the way up there better. So I hope everybody had the same great time I did over however many days it takes them. I really have enjoyed this expansion, and like I needed a break between 5.1 and 5.2. And there's a lot out there. There's a lot of great games. Temtem's great. I'm looking forward to trying Wolcen at some point. I've enjoyed aspects of World of Warcraft. I've enjoyed Classic with friends. There are other things. So like the breaks are welcome. That's not an insult to this game, but my God, this game, every time there's new content, it just sets the bar so high. I just wanted to share this before I got some sleep so that these thoughts were kind of out of my head while they're fresh. And thank you guys. My name's Chris with Worked at Game. Hopefully you guys had the same joy I did. And this is the closest I could get to a reaction video since like this is really all of my reactions from like 16 hours of stream. Take care. I will see you guys in the many guides and opinion pieces they're going to spin out of this much content. And until then,